Hi guys, it's Milana and welcome back to my channel. Since there are so many new makeup beginners out there both on my channel and on others as well, I wanted to create a series for you guys basically dealing with Makeup Fundamentals 101. And today's video is going to be all about the 4 different types of foundation applicators or brushes. So when I evaluate the brushes for you guys, I'm basically going to tell you and actually show you and demonstrate on my face how well they cover from light to actually full coverage, and then show you the finish of each brush and tool. So the first foundation brush is actually the most common on the market. This is the flat foundation brush. You guys can see it's more flat, but in this particular brush is the Makeup Forever number 108. And basically this brush is known for the most coverage because you are literally painting your face with the foundation. So the next foundation brush is actually a buffing brush. There are so many on the market. There's different types of buffing brushes, but the main point of a buffing brush is very dense. It has some type of a dome shaped. It could be flat, just like the Sigma brush, like this. It could be flat, but it's really dense. Or like a simple, smaller dome shaped brush. So basically the idea of these brushes is to give you a nice coverage, either from sheer to really full coverage with an airbrush finish. Next type of foundation brush is actually a stippling brush, and this is the duo fiber, in particular the MAC 187. And this brush is really great for a more light to medium coverage foundations because I've noticed, in my opinion, when I do start packing on the foundation, it gets a little bit streaky and it's harder to blend with this particular type of foundation brush. And last but not least is a sponge. This particular one is the Beauty Blender, as you can tell. This is a drier one and this is a damp one. It is a little bit dirty, but always make sure to dampen your sponge whenever you use it to apply foundation. But there are 2 things I want to mention. There is a plus and a minus to this little bad boy. The plus is it gives the most beautiful airbrush finish with any foundation that I've ever used. But the drawback is it does use up the most product out of all the brushes I've talked about. But it is definitely still worth it because it's just amazing. So the foundation that I'll be using today is the Lancome 24-Hour Makeup, and I'm in the shade, what is the shade? 210 Buff Neutral. So on my right side, I'm going to go with the duo fiber, and then I already have the foundation on my hand right here. Just with my clean fingers, make sure they're clean and washed. I'm just going to dip it in and then just apply a few spots here and there. You guys can see it did a very good job blending. We're going to go with the pointed foundation brush, the flat one, and then I'm actually going to take the actual brush and just dip it in very lightly like that and just start applying. Just going in downwards motion. I can definitely see in the mirror, I don't know if you guys can pick up, but this side with the flat foundation brush, it definitely has more coverage already versus the duo fiber because it's not as dense, and I did kind of stipple it in, but it still didn't give as much coverage as this brush right here. And this is only the 1 layer. Alright, so we're going to go back in one more time with a full pump of foundation with each brush on each side, same side. We're just going to go back in one more time to give it a more full coverage and to see how well they do on each side. So now that you guys saw the way I applied foundation with both of these brushes, I want to know your opinion in the comment section below of how you use these types of brushes on your face, between your techniques or which brush you like the most. That these types of videos are just a quick and easy reference for all of the makeup lovers out there that are just beginning or already experts in this field. And this is just a great place to kind of share all of our different opinions or different techniques on how we apply foundation with what types of tools and which tools are the best for different types of foundations out there. Next, we're going to compare the Beauty Blender sponge versus a buffing brush. So on my right side, we're going to do the sponge. This is the Beauty Blender. And on my left side, we're going to do this buffing brush. This is the Hourglass number 2 foundation brush. I'm just going to dab the Beauty Blender right in, not all the way, but just a little bit, just to pick up a tiny bit. Just like that on the bigger side, and I'm gonna start bouncing it on my cheeks first. Alright, so you guys can tell it's not as full coverage as the other 2 brushes that we just did because it is a damp sponge. it's dispersing and it's making the foundation more sheer. But the beauty of this is you can go in as many times as you want to make it really full coverage if that's what you prefer. Moving on, I'm gonna do with the buffing brush. This brush is really dense, so it should give a more fuller coverage, and this is the Hourglass #2 brush. And I like to start by stippling or just bouncing it just the same way as a stippling brush or the beauty blender. And then just buffing it out. Alright, so now that the first layer is on with both of the tools, you guys can see it's not as full coverage as the first two foundation brushes. It's more dispersed and it's more sheer and lighter coverage. But the beauty of both of these are you can build up really nicely and it's not going to look as cakey. Alright, I'm just going to do one more pump just to give it extra more coverage. And we're going to do it again. And start covering, adding more coverage and foundation. For my final remarks, in my opinion, for the best flawless coverage and finish, I would definitely go for the Beauty Blender because it does start off sheer, but you can build up to a nice full coverage foundation and finish. If you do want to invest some money, I would invest into a Beauty Blender and some sort of buffing brush. These two here are my favorites. This is the one that I was showing you and demonstrating with. This is the Hourglass #2 foundation brush, and this is the It Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe #7 dual-ended brush. These two are just thebomb.com. Even though I do love both of these types of brushes, I do want to hear you guys' opinions and why you prefer these brushes versus, let's say, a buffing brush or the Beauty Blender. Here's another quick visual aid for you guys demonstrating each of the foundation applicators that I just talked about. I want to quickly show you the actual coverage and the finish of each applicator, how it's applied on a different surface other than my skin because it is a different contrast. Alright you guys, so that concludes the video. I hope you guys liked it. Leave your comments and suggestions down below as always. And please leave a thumbs up button on this video and let me know if you did like or if you want to see more of these Makeup Fundamentals 101 videos. Thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you next time.